Success is not the result of luck, but the outcome of daily learning habits. In today's story, you will not only practice your English listening skills, but also discover why educating yourself every single day is the ultimate key to building a successful and meaningful life. Alex was 26, young, ambitious, and freshly out of college. Like many graduates, he believed that his degree was enough to guarantee him a bright future. For years, he had been told that completing school was the ultimate ticket to success. But as he stepped into the real world, Alex quickly realized that life didn't play by the same rules he had studied in textbooks. He found himself working at a small company with unstable hours and a salary that barely covered his living expenses. Every month, he struggled to manage his finances. His paycheck would disappear too quickly, spent on bills, unnecessary purchases, and impulsive decisions. Alex often wondered why he was always broke, even though he was working hard. At work, things weren't much better. Despite holding a degree, he lacked practical skills. He didn't know how to communicate effectively with clients, how to solve unexpected problems, or how to negotiate for better opportunities. Each time a challenge appeared, Alex froze. He had knowledge, but it wasn't the kind that helped him thrive in the real world. Opportunities came and went, but Alex never seemed to catch them. He saw friends starting side businesses, improving their careers, and even traveling abroad for better jobs, while he stayed stuck in the same position. The more he compared himself, the more frustrated he became. Deep down, he thought, maybe I'm just unlucky. But luck wasn't the problem. The truth was that Alex had relied too much on formal education and ignored the importance of self-education. He had never invested time in learning about money, communication, personal growth, or the changing demands of the job market. Like many young adults, Alex had assumed that once school was over, learning was also over. This mistake cost him valuable years, and it wasn't unique to him. Around the world, millions of young people share the same struggle. Good degrees, but poor life preparation. They find themselves facing financial stress, low confidence, and limited opportunities, not because they aren't intelligent, but because they stopped learning too soon. One ordinary afternoon, Alex sat at his desk, staring at a pile of bills. For the first time, the numbers didn't just look confusing. They looked terrifying. He had maxed out his credit card, borrowed money from friends, and still found himself short at the end of the month. The reality hit him hard. His poor money management had pushed him into debt. It wasn't just a financial problem. It was a wake-up call. That evening, feeling both frustrated and embarrassed, Alex met an old acquaintance at a small cafe. The man, now a successful entrepreneur, radiated the kind of confidence and stability Alex longed for. Curious, Alex asked him what made the difference. The businessman leaned forward and said something that would change Alex's life forever. School can give you basic knowledge, but only self-education every single day can give you freedom. Those words echoed in Alex's mind long after the conversation ended. Freedom. That was what he wanted. Not just financial freedom, but also the freedom to make better choices, to build a meaningful career, and to stop feeling stuck. He realized that his debt wasn't just about money. It was a symbol of the price he was paying for his ignorance. On his way home, Alex kept repeating the question to himself. If I don't educate myself, what price will I pay in 10 years? Would he still be trapped in debt, working jobs he didn't love, and blaming luck for his failures? Would he watch life pass by, always feeling behind? The thought scared him, but it also ignited something new inside. A spark of determination. For the first time, Alex saw clearly that his lack of daily learning was the true enemy. Not poverty, not failure, not bad luck, ignorance. That night, he made a quiet promise to himself. He would start learning again, not the way he did in school, but in a way that prepared him for life. He would study money, communication, problem solving, and personal growth. He would dedicate at least 1 hour a day to self-education, no matter what. This was the turning point. The moment when Alex stopped waiting for luck and started taking responsibility for his future. Alex's life began to shift the very next morning. He woke up 1 hour earlier than usual, brewed a simple cup of coffee, and sat at his desk with a notebook and a determination he had never felt before. That was the day he began his new ritual, dedicating 1 focused hour each day to self-education. At first, it felt strange. He was used to scrolling through social media or watching random videos in his free time. But now, that hour became sacred. It was his investment in himself. He wasn't learning for grades, exams, or certificates. He was learning for life. Alex structured his journey around 10 key areas he believed would transform him into a stronger, wiser version of himself. 1. Financial education. He started by reading about budgeting, saving, and investing. He finally understood why his money kept disappearing and how to build a safety net instead of living paycheck to paycheck. 2. Skills education. He dedicated time to learning practical skills, public speaking, negotiation, and even basic coding. Each new skill made him more adaptable in the workplace. 3. Mind education. He dove into books on critical thinking and mental clarity. Slowly, he learned how to analyze problems instead of panicking or blaming others. 4. Emotional education. Alex practiced controlling his reactions. Through journaling and mindfulness, he discovered that emotions, when managed, could be a powerful tool rather than a weakness. 5. Market education. He started following trends in his industry, paying attention to what people actually needed, and realizing how opportunities often hid in plain sight. 6. Digital education. Instead of being just a consumer of technology, he became a learner. He explored digital marketing, online tools, and the power of automation. 7. Self-awareness education. Alex spent time reflecting on his values, strengths, and weaknesses. He began to see his past mistakes not as failures, but as lessons pointing him toward growth. 8. Reality education. Through biographies and social studies, he learned to read people better, to see the unspoken rules of society, and to avoid being naive. 9. Foundational education. He built daily discipline, exercising, waking up early, and creating routines. These small habits became the backbone of his transformation. 10. Problem-solving education. He practiced solving small challenges daily, training his brain to look for solutions instead of excuses. After a few months, Alex began noticing remarkable changes. His finances no longer felt out of control. He had savings for the first time in his life. His communication at work improved, earning him respect from colleagues. Even more, he felt more confident and less anxious about the future. Opportunities that once seemed distant started to appear. A manager recommended him for a higher role. Friends began asking him for advice. Most importantly, Alex realized he was no longer just surviving. He was growing every single day. This was the real reward of self-education. Not overnight success, but steady transformation. As Alex reflected on his journey, he began to see a few powerful truths emerge. Lessons that not only reshaped his own life, but could serve anyone who felt stuck in the same cycle. Ignorance is the real enemy. Alex realized that poverty, failure, or even rejection were never the true problems. The real enemy was ignorance. Not knowing how to manage money had led him into debt. Not knowing how to communicate effectively had caused missed opportunities. Ignorance quietly steals from people's lives, while they blame circumstances or luck. Once Alex named ignorance as the real enemy, he knew exactly what he had to fight. Not people, not society, but his own lack of knowledge. Self-education creates freedom. For years, Alex believed that a university degree would guarantee him success. But he discovered that formal education is just a starting point, not the finish line. True freedom, financial, professional, and personal, comes from taking responsibility for your own learning. By choosing to educate himself daily, Alex no longer felt trapped by the limitations of his past. He realized that no one could take away what he had taught himself. Self-education was his ticket out of stagnation and into a future of choices. Knowledge builds confidence. Alex had always been hesitant in conversations at work, afraid of sounding unprepared or uninformed. But as he invested in learning, he noticed a new sense of confidence rising inside him. Knowledge gave him the courage to speak up, to share ideas, and to take initiative. The more he learned, the less he feared. Confidence wasn't something he was born with. It was something he built through the steady accumulation of knowledge. 1 hour daily can change your life. Perhaps the most surprising lesson Alex learned was the power of consistency. 1 hour a day didn't sound like much, but compounded over weeks and months, it became a life-altering force. In 30 days, he had read multiple books. In 90 days, he had improved his finances and communication. In 6 months, his mindset had completely shifted. That single hour each day became the most valuable investment he had ever made. Alex's lessons remind us that success doesn't require genius, luck, or perfect timing. It requires clarity about the enemy we face, ignorance, and the discipline to fight it with consistent, daily learning. By educating ourselves, we unlock freedom, build confidence, and transform our lives 1 hour at a time. The truth is simple. Life will always demand a price. Either you pay it by staying ignorant and suffering the consequences, or you pay it by dedicating time to learning and reaping the rewards. The choice, as Alex discovered, is always yours. When Alex looked around, he realized his story was not unique. The pattern of struggling in adulthood because of neglected self-education was everywhere. In fact, some of the most successful people in the world, from entrepreneurs to leaders, scientists to artists, had one thing in common. They never stopped learning. Lifelong education was not an option for them. It was a non-negotiable habit. Science backs this up. Research shows that reading daily sharpens critical thinking skills and enhances creativity. The brain thrives on stimulation, and reading provides the kind of mental exercise that strengthens neural connections. Even just 20 to 30 minutes a day of engaging with challenging material can significantly improve problem-solving abilities. Another powerful finding comes from studies on aging and brain health. Neuroscientists have discovered that those who continuously learn new skills, whether it's a language, an instrument, or a technical ability, are less likely to experience cognitive decline as they grow older. Learning acts as a protective shield for the brain, keeping it resilient and adaptable. In other words, self-education is not only a tool for success in youth, but also an investment in long-term mental health. Beyond science, real life offers countless examples. Billionaires like Warren Buffett credit hours of daily reading for their wisdom in decision-making. Innovators like Elon Musk taught themselves entire industries, rocketry, engineering, artificial intelligence, through independent study. What these people prove is simple. Self-education builds a foundation that no degree or institution can guarantee. But here's the deeper truth. If you choose not to educate yourself, life will step in and teach you instead. And those lessons are rarely pleasant. Poor financial habits lead to crushing debt. A lack of emotional intelligence results in broken relationships. Weak problem-solving skills cause constant frustration and missed opportunities. Life charges a high price for ignorance, and the bill always comes due. So the question becomes, which teacher do you want? Do you want the patient, empowering teacher of self-education, who gives you knowledge, confidence, and freedom? Or do you want the harsh teacher of life's consequences, who punishes with failure, regret, and wasted time? Alex's journey shows us that the choice is in our hands. Knowledge is more accessible today than at any time in history. Books, courses, podcasts, and resources are available everywhere. The only question left is whether we will discipline ourselves to take advantage of them, or wait until life forces its own painful lessons upon us. At the end of Alex's story, one truth becomes clear. Education is not something that ends when you graduate. You are the teacher, you are the student, and in many ways, you are your own university. The greatest classrooms are not limited by walls. They are built inside your daily habits. If you want freedom, confidence, and growth, the path is simple but not easy. Commit to learning every single day. It does not require endless hours or expensive programs. All it takes is 1 hour of focused self-education. That 1 hour, repeated daily, can reshape your skills, your opportunities, and ultimately, your future. So here is the challenge for you. Starting today, choose one area of your life that you want to improve. It could be financial education, communication skills, emotional control, or even a new technical ability. Write it down. Make a commitment to spend at least 1 focused hour each day this week studying, practicing, and applying what you learn in that area. Knowledge multiplies when you use it, and the results will begin to show faster than you expect. Your confidence will grow, your decisions will improve, and the world will open doors that once seemed impossible. But remember this: if you choose not to educate yourself, life will step in to do the job, and its lessons are far harsher. Debt, regret, and missed opportunities are the price of ignorance. The good news is, the choice is always yours. Every day is a new chance to build a better mind and a better future. Educate yourself daily, because the cost of ignorance is always higher than the cost of learning.